Ever find yourself waiting endlessly at a big box pharmacy, feeling like just another number? At Tablet Pharmacy, they provide the personalized service you deserve. They offer free delivery and blister packaging options to make managing your medications easier than ever. Check their competitive prices online at tabletpharmacy.ca.
Peter and Dave, they're on the mic, alright. Join the ride, it's gonna feel just right.
Welcome back to the Pulse Community Podcast. Springtime on Vancouver Island progresses as the temperatures creep upwards and the days get longer. The patios are open and the golf courses are filling up.
And I'm Dave Graham. Golf. Oh yeah, I'm all about golf.
Dave, you don't golf.
No, but I've been studying it. The aim of the game is to lose a ball down a hole in as few tries as possible, right? Well, I'm very good at losing things, so that makes me a natural.
Well, there's just a bit more to it than that, Dave.
Once again, Peter, you're just confusing the issue with details. How hard can it be? It's not like the ball is moving. This isn't baseball. It isn't played while running. This isn't basketball. You know, I don't want to brag or anything, but all the games of mini golf I've played have shown me that I have a touch.
Well, I'm sure Rory McIlroy is breathing a sigh of relief, and he's happy that you're busy with other things. We're anticipating a couple of significant golf course events locally, Dave. The first ever For Our Families golf tournament is set out to help the SOS, the Society of Organized Services, at Morningstar Golf Club on June 6th. $180 buys 18 holes, a cart, buffet dinner, Dave, on-course challenges, a chance to win a brand new vehicle, and there's a long list of wonderful items to win in the silent auction.
Do we have details on the buffet dinner menu? I can help with that. I'm fully qualified to hand out dinner rolls.
And the second event will be at the Qualicum Beach Memorial Golf Course for Rock the Range, September 12th. We are giving away a general admission pass for 2 to Rock the Range. It's the newest live music event on the island, and it features 5440 in their only Vancouver Island appearance this year. Plus, the lineup includes Kyle McKierney, the Chris Buck Band, and the Steadies.
To enter, head to our website or our Facebook or Instagram pages and tell us who you're most looking forward to seeing perform at Rock the Range. The contest closes at midnight on Thursday, April 23rd.
5440 co-founder and bassist Brad Merritt will be joining us today on the podcast. The new album Porto, recorded in Portugal, is out now.
We're still doing it. We still like it. We do it as well or better than we ever have. I just had a birthday in March and Neil gives me a call. That's something we do every year. We call each other. He goes, yeah, I think that this rock and roll thing helps keep you young. I went, yeah, it really does. I know lots of people who are my age or whatever. And I go, they just don't act, look, or think the way that we do. And that's okay. It's a little bit like the Dave Davies song from the Kinks. I'm not like everybody else. And that's okay.
Former NHL goalie Richard Brodeur backstopped the Vancouver Canucks to their very first Stanley Cup final. Now, Richard is a successful artist who is trading the crease for canvas. He's bringing his art to Parksville and opening a new gallery.
It's not only my paintings. Right now, we're 8 of us. We're going to have pottery. We're going to have sculptures. We're going to have different styles of painting, professional artists. I would say 80% are from the island. The gallery you're going to see is different art. They're very diversified.
Roy Forbes will be on a future podcast. He'll be appearing at Charles Landing in Port Alberni.
We'll soon hear what's happening at the Parksville Museum from Sarah Ronald. The museum is a busy place. They have another live music concert series planned.
Jay Fries of Victoria joins us to talk about his new album and his new role in a television show with Kevin Kline and Laura Linney.
Chris Buck of the Chris Buck Band and the organizer of the Boots and Boats Singer-Songwriter Festival in Nanoose will stop by for a chat.
Stay tuned to the podcast and our website and social pages for our upcoming contests. We have a summer of giveaways planned.
Yes, there will be tickets for 5440 April Wine and Beach Fest Rocks.
When families are supported, our whole community thrives. That's why SOS launched For Our Families, a campaign dedicated to keeping essential and enriching SOS child, youth, and family programs open, accessible, and vibrant. You can make a donation through the SOS website, and you can help by teeing off at the first ever SOS For Our Community Golf Tournament, June 6th at Morningstar Golf Club. For just $180 per person, enjoy the driving range, 18 holes of golf, a golf cart, buffet dinner, on-course challenges, the chance to win a brand new vehicle from Parksville Chrysler, and other great prizes. Bid on great local items in the silent auction. Support local children and youth. Strengthen local families. Learn more at sosd69.com.
Ian Lindsay of Lindsay and Associates has played an active role in the local community since 1979. He has been with RE/MAX, Vancouver Island's most advanced real estate business network, since 1996, marketing and selling residential, rural, strata, recreational, investment, and project development real estate. Ian has received several awards recognizing his exceptional community commitment locally, as well as awards for outstanding performance and achievement from both RE/MAX International and the Vancouver Island Real Estate Board. You'll find true real estate professionals at ianlindsay.ca.
This is the Pulse Community Podcast with a focus on Mid-Vancouver Island, and we're always looking for stories. If you have one to share or you know of one we could be covering, contact us. Leave a voice or text message. Head to our website, click on the contact link.
Visit our website and find links to Vancouver Island webcams, plus all of our podcasts and information on guests and contests, all at thepulsecommunity.ca.
The Pulse Community Podcast is available on Apple, Amazon, iHeart, Spotify, TikTok, and YouTube. We're also on Facebook and Instagram. And now we are ready for our first guest. Here's Marilyn.
Richard Brodeur spent 17 years between the pipes in the World Hockey Association and the National Hockey League. But it was the spring of 1982 that cemented his place in hockey history, backstopping the Vancouver Canucks to their very first Stanley Cup final. Now Richard is a successful artist who is trading the crease for canvas. He's bringing his art to Parksville when he opens Gallery 35.
Thanks for joining us on the podcast today, Richard. I'm always happy to welcome goaltenders.
Oh, goaltenders, thank you. I'm happy to be here. But goaltending has been a long time, though. A long time ago.
We will have some questions about hockey. We'll want to talk about the art that you've been making for the last 25 years or so, especially now that you're living on Vancouver Island. Let's start at the start. When did you pick up a goalie stick, and when did you pick up an artist pencil or brush?
Goalie stick, I was 4 years old, probably, when the backyard, my dad in Montreal used to do a backyard rink, and that's where we started playing. And that's probably where I picked up that stick. But playing goalie, I was 11 years old. I was, like chasing pucks like everybody else. Then we lost a couple games by a big score, and the goalie that was there said, "I'm done. Don't want to play anymore." So the coach asked who wants to play goal. I say, okay. I had tried because I was a catcher in baseball. We won the first game, so he said, "You're going to stay in." That's been it since then. So 11 years old, really playing goal. 10 years later, I'm in the pros.
Well, that's kind of funny. I was a catcher in baseball and a goaltender in hockey. I never made it to the pros, though.
I've been fortunate enough. I think it's something that was with me all the time, and I love to do it. And people say, "You're crazy, you're a goalie." Yes, I am crazy, and I'm a goalie. It's a lonely job. You're by yourself. They can tell you how to stop the puck. They can tell you what to do. And you have to figure it out by yourself. There's 5 guys in front of you, but you're the last line. So you pay the price with the boost sometimes. You can put as much pressure as you want on yourself. For me, it's all about being prepared. Preparation was everything. Not when you're young, you just go out and play. But when you get to a level like the junior, major junior, and the pros, it's all about preparation. So you know who you're going to play against, and you go, who's the best scorer on that team? How they play their power play? What do you do? So that's all preparation. So if you're prepared, you just go out there and play the game. And whatever happened, happened.
Now, goaltenders are often described as being a different breed, as you mentioned, cerebral, independent, a little bit eccentric now and again. Do you think that makeup that makes a great goaltender is also what lends itself to being an artist?
I have 2 passions in my life, not talking my family, but I had the hockey sports. I got to do it professionally, and now I got to do art professionally. Is there a correlation between the two? I would say yes, because it's you on the canvas. When you're on the ice, and it's you and the boys. That's it. Like I said, when you paint, it's the same thing as when you play hockey. It's all being prepared before you start your painting. That's the correlation you got there. But then being imaginative to be able to put out what you want on the canvas and What you want on the ice was a little more difficult than when you do on the canvas, because the canvas, you got an idea. On the ice, there's so many things unexpected happening, and it's really fast. It's a different world, but it's two passions that I love very much.
Now, I understand you kept your passion for painting a secret from your teammates for many years, and you were bringing a sketch pad on road trips and whatnot. What was it like carrying around that creative life privately, kind of in your back pocket during your hockey career?
If you remember, the 70s were a little macho, right? It was all a big man's world. You're a goalie, you're crazy for them already. And you're going to tell them that you're an artist on top of that? No, the first thing that would come to their mind would be what? No, we can count on them, right? I kept it for myself. And then I painted at home. And sometimes after a game, I could paint till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And on the road, I had my sketch pad. And they didn't understand, oh, that's Richard, he do those. But at the end of my career, I started painting more and more. I was doing little shows back east. I know my career was going to an end, but I still loved to paint, so I did. And it became a career for me.
I read somewhere that you said painting may have saved your life during a difficult battle with depression.
I had 13 concussions when I played, that we know. We didn't have the big mask, the big protection. So when you get hit in the head, you get knocked out, completely blacked out. I guess that's a concussion. You get the headaches for 2, 3 days. Yeah, I think that's a concussion. It did lead to depression. Depression for me, I had to fight for at least 30 years. And if it wasn't for my art, I wouldn't be here today. Because that was my refuge, my place where I was happy, could find myself again. And that's a fact. I'm not ashamed of saying that. I'm not the only one on this, or I'm sure that happened to them. But I was lucky enough, fortunate enough, I had this. As an anchor, I could grab and say, get me away from all the dark places.
Let's talk about your art, Richard. Your My Childhood Hockey Memories series has resonated with Canadians coast to coast. It's nostalgic scenes of kids in backyard rinks. Where did the inspiration come from? Your own backyard?
Some of my own backyard. We grew up in Longueuil, the suburbs of Montreal. My dad did the backyard rink. We live along the St. Lawrence River. We played hockey or skated on the St. Lawrence River. We played in the backyard rink my dad used to do, and he put lights on the clothesline, so all the kids around would come at night and play with us. We played my uncle's farm. He had a creek going through his farm. We go and play on the creek there. It was part of who you are. We play ball hockey on the street, and so it was part of who we are. And as a Canadian, I paint now scenes that you can have the Rockies in there, and people say, yeah, I know this place. I know it well. Yeah, and then I remember I used to do that. I even sold in Europe, in Finland, and Sweden, and Germany, and people saying, yeah, we grew up like that. So back in the days, there were a lot more simple time than now. We played outdoors. We just played for the fun of it, and we didn't think at 12 years old we was trying to make the NHL. We just played and have fun. And that's what it's called, my childhood hockey memories. It's a happy place for me. When I think about those paintings, when I do those paintings, they make me happy. The other side of my art, like I do the landscape or contemporary type of painting, it's another set of mine completely. Another approach to a painting that's, I go on site, or people sometimes give me a reference about what they want. I see a scene, and then that's my interpretation of what I see. I'm not a realist. I'm an expressionist, they call. You can call me whatever you want as long as you buy the painting. But that's what they see. It's an expression of what I see. And the color are my colors. And that, to me, is a very different approach on art. And then the contemporary is when I see people. I see things that I will paint my way. I like the human being with their emotion. So I'd like to paint that, too. So I'd like to diversify. I sell a lot of hockey paintings. I need to get away from that sometimes, so I go do a landscape or a contemporary painting, which is completely different mindset. Then I can come back and refresh. How they started? There was a gallery in Fort Langley, the birthplace of BC Gallery then. Brenda, the owner, said, all my 22 artists are going to do something on ice and snow. I said, are you crazy? What the hell are you talking about? And she said, yeah, all of them. The year before was the rabbits. We had to do something with a rabbit, and there was the year of the rabbit in China. So we did. But I said, okay. But on my way home, I'm thinking about, we played hockey on the ice, snow, backyard rink. The mindset was ready for that. And I did 4 paintings for the show. She sold them in an hour and a half. She said, you're going to keep doing that. So about 850 sold 12 years later, we're still going.
And you work in oils, acrylics, watercolors across multiple styles, folk art, post-impressionism, and abstract. That's a really wide palette, if you'll pardon the pun.
There's a really wide palette in the scrambled eggs I got in my head. I paint what I love to do, and I paint. My mind goes 100 miles an hour all the time. So when I sit down and I see something, I start doing one. I always have 3 paintings on the go all the time. When I get tired of one, I just move to another. I have to refresh, come back. And that's the way I paint. That's the way I do it. And I paint quickly. It's spontaneous. It's out there. And I don't take a month to do a painting. I take a day or 4 hours or something like that. So that's who I am. That makes an artist different from any others. That's the way you work. That's the way you are. That's your style. And my mentor back then, Pichet, was really well known. He sold everywhere around the world. And in a small town, I spent my summer there. And he said, you come and paint with me tomorrow. I said, wow. That was like, okay. So 3 days later, that guy, Claude, said, shut the hell up. See, you know everything you have to know. You're very good at what you do. Just find the color of your heart. And that took a while. But that was pretty profound. But that's the truth. That's what it is. You got to find yourself. Yeah, he told me really true.
You've recently done some live painting sessions in Victoria as part of your Crease to Canvas series. What's it like creating in front of an audience?
I'm in my bubble. I can't talk to people, turn around and start painting. Because like I say, when you're prepared on the canvas, I know where I'm going with it. So even if you talk to me, it doesn't matter. I know what I'm doing. I do artists in residence. I do shows. I'm going to White Rock next week. Yeah, and we have another one after that in Ladysmith. And then we have another one in Langley after that with the West Art Show. I'm busy. I have 1-2 events every month. I'm booked till Christmas right now.
And on top of that, you're opening a new studio here in Parksville, which is very exciting news for us. What drew you specifically to Parksville, and what can people expect when they walk through the door?
It's really close to my heart. I wanted to do that for a long time, so open a gallery. And my son's been living here over 25 years, and he's my partner in that. And it's a gallery where my friends, too, will be there. It's not only my paintings. Right now, we're 8 of us. We're going to have pottery. We're going to have sculptures. We're going to have different styles of painting, professional artists. I would say 80% are from the island. The gallery you're going to see is different art. They're very diversified. But also, we're going to have a stage in the gallery so people can come and do some events there. We're going to have art classes, too. It's something that will bring in the community, and it'll be open for people to see and creative. And that's what I want to bring to Parksville. Is this something different than others? Maybe not. I don't know. That's what I want to do. We're now finishing the location. My son is painting right now. So he's painting the walls and he put the lights up and all that.
Richard, could we do a speed round of questions? Morning painter or night owl?
Morning.
Favorite NHL arena you've played in?
Chicago.
Why?
The big Oregon places was unbelievable. Sold out. Crazy people.
Oil, acrylic, or watercolor?
Childhood memories, acrylic, for landscape, oil.
Wayne Gretzky, greatest of all time, yes or no?
So far, yes.
Outdoor rink or indoor rink?
Oh, I love outdoor. I grew up outdoor.
Favorite painting you've created?
Oh, Mother Nature is crying. It's a painting of Mother Nature in the universe looking at Earth, and she's crying. And her coat has got all the flowers, the bees, and all of that. That is my favorite painting. That's a statement I made. Just show what I feel about what's going on.
Coffee or tea in the studio?
Coffee.
What music do you listen to in the studio?
Oh, all kind of music. It depends my mood. It could go from country to classical to pop to no hip-hop, though. No, that doesn't ring a bell with me.
Not the theme from Hockey Night in Canada?
No, I'm done with that.
Best save you ever made?
Best save I ever made, I think it was against Denis Savard in Chicago. It was the last game. He came out of the breakaway right off the bat, and I kicked it out. And then we just took over after that. That was a big save.
1982 playoffs. One word.
Incredible. It was like we didn't care. We were like a pack of wolves.
Favorite color on the palette?
Red.
Biggest influence as an artist?
Pichet was. Claude Pichet. He was a mentor, but the color he put in his palette and all that was Quebec art is really big with colors, and I think that's where I come from.
Hockey card or art print, which would you rather sign?
I make more money with the hockey card, let's put it this way.
Favorite spot on Vancouver Island so far?
Oh, I love Nanoose Bay. That's where I live now, and I just love it there.
Last thing you painted?
Probably the bathroom. No, I did 2 commission paintings for Canadian Tire to raise money for them, and one is for the Greater Vancouver, and the other one is for Halifax and Maritimes. I finished one, almost done with the other one, so that's the business side of it.
If you weren't a goalie or an artist, what would you have been?
I would love to sing. I'm not really good, but I just love to sing. So in my next life, I'll come back as a singer.
What style of music would you be singing?
Rock and roll. I'm an old rocker, right? Come on.
For a young hockey player on Vancouver Island dreaming of the NHL, what's one piece of advice that you wish someone had given you as a youngster?
Listen to your coach. Just make sure that you understand it's a team game. Love what you do. If you don't, get out of there and do something else. I had kids that I coached that didn't want to play hockey. So why are you playing hockey? Because of the parents. That's the problem. For me, it's enjoy playing hockey. If you want to play hockey, just go for it. And be disciplined. If you want to succeed, you got to be prepared, like I said. You be disciplined in what you do. You're going to be making mistakes. You're going to have success. You're going to miss, but you just keep going.
For a young artist, maybe a teenager who's quietly sketching in the notebook and unsure if they should pursue it, what would you tell them?
Just follow the colors of your heart. That's what you want to do. Art is very subjective in the sense that it's not only painting. It could be anything. It could be singing. It's art. So just follow your art and your heart. That's the big thing.
Richard, you've gone from crease to canvas, from Quebec to Vancouver Island. What chapter are you in right now, and what does the next few years look like?
I think I want to slow down and just really work in the gallery, choosing where I want to do, and slow down a bit. I'm only 73 years old. I got another 25 years to go, but I'm at the stage in my career I can pick where I want to go and what I want to do, which is nice.
Richard Brodeur, he was remarkable between the pipes, and he's now bringing that same focus and passion to his art. Gallery 35 opens soon in Parksville. It will be of interest to art lovers and hockey fans. Links in our story notes at thepulsecommunity.ca.
You'll also find Skookum Kid Stories on our website. Each week sees a new story featuring Peter and Gracie, the Eskimo dog, or the Mellow Submarine. And our stories now offer coloring pages to go along with each new episode.
In this week's story, Captain Dave and his first mate Larry the Lobster take the Mellow Submarine to a car show.
Our Radio Archaeology Classic radio series features original episodes of Dragnet with Sergeant Joe Friday and Gunsmoke with Marshal Matt Dillon.
Our partners in podcasting also include a resilience project with Cindy Thompson of Parksville and stories of resilience, of moving from surviving to thriving.
Parksville councillors Joel Grenz and Sean Wood help us understand and navigate the inside workings of municipal politics in nonpartisan hacks.
You'll find these podcasts and more at thepulsecommunity.ca. And while you're there, sign up for our newsletter and be among the first to know about upcoming guests and contests.
At Thrifty Foods, we love to help nonprofits, charities, and schools. Our Thrifty Foods Smile Card bulk program allows organizations to immediately save up to 6% on the purchase of Smile Cards in bulk, allowing you to keep more money in your organization's pockets. Ask for details at Thrifty Foods in Parksville.
Ever find yourself waiting endlessly at a big box pharmacy, feeling like just another number? There's a better way. At Tablet Pharmacy, they provide the personalized service you deserve. Check their competitive prices online at tabletpharmacy.ca before you even leave home. They offer free delivery and blister packaging options to make managing your medications easier than ever. With convenient locations in Parksville, Qualicum Beach, and now open in Nanaimo near the Brick, Tablet Pharmacy has been serving Vancouver Island since 2019. Stop being just a prescription number. Experience the Tablet Pharmacy difference today. Visit them online and check their prices at tabletpharmacy.ca.
Okay, Dave, back to golf for a moment.
Yes, I've been giving this more thought. I think the sport is missing something, Peter. It's too quiet. They need to get rid of the rule that the spectators be quiet while the players play. I think there should be music, maybe some cheerleading, and the golfers just have to cope with the distractions. Hey, if they're world-class players, I think, then a bit of distraction supplied by, I don't know, a thumping sound system shouldn't be an issue.
I think there's lots of folks who are grateful that you're not in charge of golf, Dave. And I think now would be a good time for our next guest. He's been rocking stages across the country at golf courses for 45 years. Here's Marilyn.
Brad Merritt is the co-founder and bassist of one of Canada's most iconic rock bands, a group that has been rocking stages across this country for 45 years. Born out of the Vancouver punk scene, 5440 helped define the sound of Canadian alternative rock. Their brand new album, Porto, is out now. 5440 will be bringing that music to Qualicum Beach for Rock the Range.
Thanks for joining us on the podcast today, Brad. It's been a while since we chatted.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here, Peter.
I was chatting with Greg Adams recently, the man behind Sunfest. 5440 was the very first band to play at the very first Sunfest on the island, and then you'll be playing at the very first Barns to Beaches Festival in Tsawwassen. Then you're heading to Qualicum Beach this summer for the very first Rock the Range Music Festival in September. I'm sensing a pattern here, Brad.
We do that. We kick off a lot of new events.
What do you remember about the very first Sunfest, Brad? Did anybody have any idea it would grow into what it's become?
I don't think it was sunny that day, as I recall, and it was out on a piece of property. It was essentially a farm where they built a really nice stage. And we had a couple thousand people out there. It was pretty modest start, I think. I remember the show having a good time and people enjoying themselves. It was in the middle of the summer, so we had natural light until like 9 o'clock or whatever. And in the end, it turned out to be quite a beautiful evening.
Being the first act at a brand new festival, do you approach that differently as a band than a venue you've played multiple times?
No, that's the easy answer. This is what we do. We've done it 3,500 times. Not that every show's the same by any stretch, but we let things unfold the way they unfold. We do our thing. What we try to do, Peter, is we try to create a sense of community, right? We try to do our thing, but work with the audience and be responsive to them. And then we create this kind of synergy. And that's what makes playing live so great. Whether I go and see a band or whether our band is playing, is that we were able to get together and create a unique experience.
You and Neil have been creating unique experiences for pretty much 50 years, friendship and a creative partnership. What's the secret to that kind of longevity, especially being a musician?
As an aside, I just renewed my passport and used Neil as a reference. It's like, how long have you known him? I wrote 49 years. When we started out, first of all, we're 20 years old. We don't know anything about anything, really. You know, it's not just music or what it takes to start a band. There was a lot of conflict, a lot of staking out our position and disagreements about whatever. We were a three-piece, and our drummer, he would recall it. We'd start to do something, and then it would stop. And then Neil and I would argue for about a half an hour, and he'd just sit there playing the drums. So the way I look at it is that's kind of an essential part of the whole thing. You work it out and understand each other a little bit, and then you agree to work together, and that whole thing has gone away. There'll be occasional things about whatever that we disagree about. But I've become a Neil booster in my old age, and I just wish the best for him, whatever he does, whether it be with me or otherwise.
Until the early 90s, even with platinum albums and touring everywhere, all the members of the band had a second job. What does that say about what the band is built on?
The level of commitment and the amount of work you have to put in, people probably don't really appreciate that. When we were making our records in the early days, it would be I'd work all day, then I would sleep in the afternoon, and then I'd get to the studio, 11:30 at night, and then we'd record from midnight until 7 in the morning, and then I'd go to work. That's the kind of stuff we did. And all the touring we did where it's on holidays and weekends, jump in my van and do our thing. And it's what you have to do, because as you start in the arts, I don't care what you're doing, you're going to have another job, because you're not going to make your job as an actor. You're going to be a waiter or whatever you're going to be. That's just the way it is. And then eventually there's that crossover period, and then you're able to evolve to the point where you don't need your day job anymore, and you're actually making a living doing what you want to do, I wouldn't take anything back. It was 11 years before I was able to quit my day job. The last 4 or 5 years were just part-time, mind you, but it's what you have to do, and it's what we did. We're all better off with experience.
We're glad you did it.
Thank you.
Hootie and the Blowfish has been covering I Go Blind since the 80s. I read the story. It said they saw you play at a club in Washington in 1989. What was your reaction when you found out they were going to record it? It sounds like there might be a pretty good story there.
Mark and Dean. So they come from Maryland. They're a little younger than us, but not much. They're going to school at the University of South Carolina, but they live in Maryland. So it's a suburb of Washington, D.C. The club is the 930 Club, very famous rock club, the center of Washington. I think it's on S Street or something. We used to play there quite a bit in the early days. We were signed to an American label, and we toured the U.S. kind of constantly for the 3 or 4 years. They were fans of the band, and they had the green record, and their cover band, they were like a frat party band. They could play the whole green record from beginning to end. They played all those songs. So it was influential for them. So they would come to our shows, a couple of them, I remember specifically at the 930 Club in Washington, D.C. After the show, they would sit around and eat our pizza and drink our beer from our rider. And I'm like, who are these guys? And then a few years later, we're playing Snow Jam out in Banff on a cold winter's afternoon. Our WHA rep, which is Warner Electro-Atlantic in Canada, said this band Hootie and the Blowfish had recorded I Go Blind, and they put it on the B-side of their first single. And we're like, oh, that's great. And then we figured out who it was. It was this band that used to come and see us play. And then, of course, the record started selling and selling, and it sold, 17 or 18 million copies. But they didn't put it on the album. If they had put it on the album, it would have been worth a lot of money to us. Anyway, they tried to bury it a little bit. What happened is their old A&R rep was putting together this compilation record for the TV show Friends. It came on the Friends soundtrack, but wasn't even allowed to be a single. But radio started playing it anyway. They just played the crap out of it. It became the number 3 most played song in the United States. And we got a Billboard award for it and an ASCAP award as writers. So we actually did make some money, some royalties, which was great. It was kind of vindication for us that we're capable of doing stuff that attracted a lot of attention, and it was good.
You were mentioning that members of the band had jobs well into 10 years of being 5440. I read somewhere that Darius Rucker worked in a music store while they were on the road.
The guys in REM did that too. And I think it was a neat thing. Peter Buck used to work at a store. They still lived in Athens, Georgia at that time. Yeah, one day a week when he's in town, he would work at the record store. And it was his way of keeping on top of things. And I think it's really a good idea. I didn't do that. At a certain point, we just became who we became. I think we became an influence on each other. And we created a synergy, if you will, within the band that helped us create a unique sound rather than trying to sort of emulate the sound of the day or whatever it was. I do admire those artists that want to stay on the pulse. And I think there's a lot to be said for that in a sort of a commercial kind of sense. I didn't do that, but good for Darius, good for Peter Buck.
Didn't you open for Hootie and the Blowfish on some of the Canadian shows back in the day?
Yeah, we played the Sky Dome. Here's a story for you. We did, 8 or 10 shows across Canada. We're at what was called the Corel Center at the time in Ottawa. That was our first show. I don't know how long we're playing for, 45 minutes to an hour or something like that. In the middle of set, we play I Go Blind. And there's this big kerfuffle at the side of the stage. And we find out after the fact, their tour manager was there, and he was going to pull the plug on us because we were playing a Hootie and the Blowfish song. He didn't realize it was our song. We said after that, okay, you play the song. We got lots of songs. We don't need to play. You play that song. So then they ended up playing the song. So.
5440 has had a very busy year with the new album. Last fall, you were out opening for Foreigner across the country on the Jukebox Hero Tour, which was their biggest Canadian tour to date. What was that experience like?
It was fun. First of all, we like playing bigger rooms. We like playing outside. We like playing small clubs. We like playing everything. To have 11 or 12 shows in a row in big venues, great crowds, just a chance to play in front of people that don't normally come to your shows, I think it was a good thing for us in every sense. It took a while to have a conversation with each one of them, but they're all great guys. And even though it's not the original members, They all had played with the original members and they carry on this, whatever it is they're carrying on, right? And I go, that's a neat thing. So I just think all in all, it's a very positive experience.
Last time we chatted, I asked if you had ever imagined making a living from music all these years later, and now you're 45 years in or something with a new album recorded in Portugal.
One of the things about our band culture is that we don't go backwards very well. We don't get reflective. We just kind of like, what's next kind of thing. An interview with you today is an opportunity for me to do that. I think it's important to take some time to realize where you came from. And then, like you say, put yourself in the shoes of these young men that started this thing and then think what that would be like today. And when I do that, I go, it's hard to comprehend that as a 20-year-old that you might still be around 45 years later. But incredibly gratifying. I think a source of pride. I don't think about it. Like I say, I am now, and I'm going, it's just a marvelous thing. And it's something I think we share with our manager, Alan, our crew, all the people that come and see our shows, that get the records, that listen to the music on streaming services, that write us, that talk to us after shows. We're all in it together, and it's still going on. I remember I was doing an interview on Seafox, Jeff Neal. We were probably 20 years in. At that point, the only thing that they were playing of our music was their Electric Lunch or whatever. They'd become very active rock. And he says, you guys have been around a long time. How much longer are you going to do this? I think about it. And so there's dead air. There is just dead air. So I think about it and I say, well, when the Rolling Stones quit, that's our 20-year warning.
And they're still out there.
There's no promises on that. But the thing is, we're still doing it. We still like it. We do it as well or better than we ever have. I just had a birthday in March, and Neil gives me a call. That's something we do every year. We call each other. He goes, yeah, I think that this rock and roll thing helps keep you young. I went, yeah, it really does. I know lots of people who are my age or whatever. And I go, they just don't act, look, or think the way that we do. And that's okay. It's a little bit like the Dave Davies song from the Kinks. I'm not like everybody else, and that's okay.
And there's something about listening to these classic rock stations. I was at the gym the other morning, and they had it playing, and I was on the bike, and I was listening to the music, and I was thinking, that was huge when I was 16. That was big when I was 17, and here I am 50 years later still listening to the same music. So it's pretty hard to feel old when you're listening to the same thing that you listened to 50 years ago.
Yeah, or playing the same stuff. In my case, all of that. During COVID, my wife and I would put on music of an era, whatever, and have our little dance parties or whatever. Yeah, it just helps. I think that the people who come and see us and listen to our music feel exactly the same way. It's therapeutic. It is therapy. There's nothing like music. When you think about all the other art forms out there, music is a part of every single one of them. I think sculptors listen to music. Dancers dance to music. Actors have soundtracks, or they have the pit orchestra in front of them. There's a primal quality to it, right? Music's been a part of our species well before we were civilized. Not that we're civilized now, but music makes the world go round. I'm glad to be a part of it. And I would be glad to be a part of it if I didn't play in a band, just to be able to listen to it, appreciate it, and have it in my life. So that's where I'm at with that, Peter.
You took us back a little bit on that one. Let's go forward now with the new album Porto, which you recorded in Portugal. 11 songs in 11 days, live off the floor. What was it about working in that particular city, that particular country, that unlocked something new for the band?
We always thought we were going to do a destination record eventually. Every record we've ever done is either been recorded in Vancouver or Los Angeles. That's just the way it is. There's been overdubs in Toronto and a few other cities, whatever. And also we work on our own studios as well. And Neil really took it upon himself to find a studio. And he'd researched about 30 or 40 various parts of the world. This one in Porto, it's an old-fashioned analog studio. It's all analog gear. They're able to provide backline for us, all sorts of guitar amps, and really cool keyboards from the 60s, and a bass amp and drums and all that stuff. And that really appealed to us. The other thing is Neil was quite familiar with Porto. He'd been there a couple of times. He'd trekked the Camino from there to Santiago. That's how it got started. And then there's just the energy you get just from being away from your natural environs. You know, it's like when you travel, right? It's the same kind of thing. So there's a heightened sense that's there. Then you get to Porto and you see what the city's like. You see what the Portuguese people are like. There's something that infuses the way you approach what it is that you're doing, which is unique to a place, as well as just, say, being away from your natural environment. And it's just an energy there, too. And you can hear it in the basic tracks. It just jumps in my playing and Matt's playing. Neil's vocals have never been better. We're immensely proud of what we're able to achieve there. I just listened to it the other day because I've got to spend some time relearning parts and stuff, because we're going to be playing 1 to 4 new songs every night. And I like it.
Some days catch you running for the fence. Some days you've been done in, lacking confidence. Some days they be gunning for your head. Some days catch you running for the fence. So tell me I'm a little out of harmony. I didn't know that a scene in a dream is the shadow's way of coming out to breathe. I didn't know cause I didn't want to see, thinking, oh my little mind. And the evidence is what you hide and deny in your life. Some days get you running for the fence. Some days you've been done in, lacking confidence. Some days they be gunning for your head. Some days get you running for the fence. I didn't know that my mama bleeds all around and live life inside of me. I didn't know that my daddy screams when he's stuck in a role he doesn't want to be. I didn't know cause I didn't want to see, thinking, oh my little mind. And the evidence is what you hide and deny in your life. Some days get you running for the fence. Some days you've been done in, lacking confidence. Some days they be gunning for your head. Some days get you running for the fence. Yeah. I didn't know that a part of me is the anima female energy. I didn't know that she's from the deep, calling 911 an emergency. Didn't know cause I didn't want to see, thinking, oh my little mind. And the evidence is what you hide and deny in your life. Some days get you running for the fence. Some days you've been done in, lacking confidence. Some days they be gunning for your head. Some days get you running for the fence. Oh.
How about a speed round of questions, Brad? You ready?
I'm ready.
Beatles or Rolling Stones?
Okay, that's a tough one. If you'd asked me that 25 or 30 years ago, or 40 or 50 years ago, it would have been the Beatles. And I think it's going to be the Beatles still, but just barely.
Bass or guitar, if you could only keep one?
Oh, bass.
One album that changed your life?
Oh, the White Album. There's something about the way that record sounds and the fact that they got away from the psychedelic thing. And also, I think because they had developed skills as songwriters, as band members, they just had it down at that point. And it was just, I think it's just a really incredible achievement, that record.
Best city in Canada to play in?
So that's a loaded question, Peter. I'd say Qualicum Beach.
Oh, actually, it's a town.
Okay, so there's towns which are easier to rock than others. So I'll give you a bunch. Calgary, Regina, Sarnia, Ontario, and Buffalo, New York, which we made an honorary Canadian city.
Strangest place a fan has ever recognized you?
It would be the Logger Sports up in Powell River.
Would you record another destination album? And if so, where?
I think that's the only kind of album we'll do from now on.
Favorite Foreigner song?
Oh, it would be Urgent. The Junior Walker sax solo, it's just sends chills down my spine. It's just amazing.
Biggest thing you took away from watching them headline every night?
Everything's exactly the same and they're always on time.
Best thing about being a BC band?
Well, it'd be living in British Columbia. We were pressured to move to Los Angeles when we were signed to an American label. We could have moved to Toronto when we were signed to a Canadian label and probably done better and all that kind of stuff. But this is where we want to live.
Nanaimo Bar, yes or no?
Oh, yes. I moved to the United States when I was 2.5 years old, and I lived in New Orleans, among other places. We moved back to Canada when I was 13. But anyway, so those years, my mother made Nanaimo bars. I don't think I even knew where Nanaimo was at the time. I realized later. The answer is totally yes on Nanaimo bars.
If 5440 wasn't the band name, what do you suppose it would have been?
So I wrote down 40 or 50 different things. Neil wanted something that was iconic, like The Who, smaller and bigger. The trend was to be the adjective nouns, the Boomtown Rats or the Tragically Hip or the Rolling Stones or whatever. There's two that fit that. We thought the Safeway Rebels, which is a little juxtaposition, a little skinny puppy action there. Don't quite go together. And then the other one was the Bridgeview Dogs. We practiced, and I lived in a part of Surrey right by the Patella Bridge. It's called Bridgeview. Had a big dog, 130-pound shepherd cross, and there's dogs in the neighborhood. It could be the Bridgeview Dogs. So there's two things that we could have been other than 5440.
5440 has been quietly active in social causes for many years, decades. Amnesty International, cancer research, women's health. That commitment doesn't always get talked about. Why has that been important to you as a band?
I think it gets back to what we were talking about earlier, right? Which is while we're playing live, that we try to create a sense of community. It's because we believe in the concept. We're social creatures, and we have to learn to live together and work together and not just compete all the time, which is nothing wrong with that. It's inherent as to who we are as people, as human beings. So many other artists do this as well and do it quietly. Rush comes to mind, among others. There's an example, I think, that one can set to, and even taking a stand, I think is important, and to be counted and counted on. And we look forward to doing more. Please see what we're up to the next 6 months or so.
Will you be bringing your golf clubs to Rock the Range September 12th in Qualicum Beach?
I like golf. I like to play golf. And I understand there's a golf tournament in Rob Patty's name, who passed away, was an influential Vancouver Canadian music agent and impresario, and I served with him on the board of Music BC. So a great and fun way to honor Rob. So I will bring my golf clubs, Peter.
Brad Merritt and 5440 still going strong after over 4 decades.
Brad and the boys will be playing their one Vancouver Island date this summer at Rock the Range, September 12th. At the Qualicum Beach Memorial Golf Course. Enter to win a pair of general admission passes at thepulsecommunity.ca or check our Facebook or Instagram pages and tell us who you'd like most to see at Rock the Range. Contest closes at midnight, April 23rd.
It is going to be a busy summer on the island with 5440 coming to town, plus April Wine. We have Beach Fest Rocks, the Boots and Boats Festival, and of course Sunfest. And we have giveaways coming for all of those. Oh, and if anyone out there is attending the SOS Golf Tournament, I am available for cheerleading. And if I'm not allowed to cheer, well, at least I have an encouraging face.
Is that what that look is?
What, right now? No, this is my we're done here face. I have things to do, blossoms to look at, ocean air to sniff, apex predators to avoid, all that good stuff.
Thanks for joining us today, folks.
Hey, Peter, give me a G.
I'm sorry? What?
Give me an L.
Oh, is this you cheerleading?
Give me an O. Give me an F. What's that spell?
Well, that spells gloth, Dave.
Okay, stand back. I'm going to do a cheerleading cartwheel. Peter, where are you going? Hey, if this doesn't work, I might need help getting up. Peter?
Here come Peter, here comes Dave. Oh, listen. Bringing stories, making waves. No missing. Spinning tales in the podcast cave. So spin. Laughs and insights everywhere. What a treat.